Welcome to the Boss Lounge, where business and entertainment connect. I am your host, Tony DeDozier, and I am here with the amazing Dr. Taskeka Green. She is the CEO, president, and founder of To Everything There Is a Season Enterprises, and she's going to tell us more about her business.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here joining you today on this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for stepping to the Boss Lounge with me today.
Thank you.
So tell us more about your business.
Yes, so again, as she said, I am Dr. Taskeka Green. I am the CEO, president, and founder of To Everything There Is a Season Enterprises. I consider it an enterprise now because I have several entities under our name and brand. And just to give you a little context and history about my business, in 2010, I lost my mother to stage 4 stomach cancer. She was diagnosed in February. She was 53 years old. I had never seen her sick. I was 7 months pregnant, and in 30 days she had passed away. And when she had was going through her transition from natural to eternal, she had asked everyone to come to the hospital to visit her. She said, tell everybody I know, tell them to get here and to get here now. And so even the oncology ward at Anne Arundel Medical Center said, we've never seen this many people before, ever. And so she preached a message about love, about how I loved you, and if I'd done anything to you, please do not charge it to my heart. Accept my apology. She was asking for any forgiveness. And so at that point in time, she really preached a message of love and forgiveness, and she knew that it was not going to be long for her. And so in her last hour, she called for me to come in. She said, at this point, I just want to take a break from everybody, and I want to talk to my daughter, Taskeka. And so when I walked into the room, she started asking me these really hard questions. So I really had to grow up really fast and put on my big girl pants and know that my mom is about to leave this earth and leave me with a lot of responsibility. And so she said, why me? And I said, well, why not you? I said, you're so beautiful in God's eye. You're a special rose, and he wants you back with him. And then she asked me, did I do a good job? And I said, you did a great job. And then after that, she started to talk to me about all of the things that she wanted to accomplish and she couldn't. And so what she did was literally pass the mantle and the promise and the purpose that was on inside of her, passed it on to me so that I could pick it up and continue the work. And so she did transition shortly after that, actually the next day after that. And then when that happened, I was at a place where I was very hurt. I was wounded. I didn't understand what was going on at that point in my life. I just lost my mother, but yet I was 7 months pregnant. I did not know how sick my mother was because my mother did not know how sick she was. She was diagnosed, and 30 days later, she passed away. And it had left me in a place of it, and I share my story all the time, that I was depressed. And then shortly after I had my daughter, I had postpartum depression. The doctors wanted me to put me on anxiety medicine and, antidepressant medicine. And I'm like, no. I was like, this cannot be. I was like, my faith in God and believing who I am in God, that God can help me and heal me. And so I said, God, I need your help. And I need you to help me to get through this season in my life of what is going on, where I have more questions than answers. I said, on one side I see death, but on the other side there's life, because I'm ready to give birth to a daughter. And so that's when God told me to write, and this was in 2010. And so I started to write, and when I wrote these pages of a book, the book was called To Everything There's a Season. It's your season, go and live. And so although I had went through this in my life, it was time for me to go and live. And even in my quiet moments of, meditation and with God, I even heard my mother say and whisper, I had to die so that you can live. Because if I didn't, you would have been just ordinary, but you're extraordinary. And so with that being said, the book that I wrote in 2010 never was actually published and shared until 2014. And I did not even want to be an author, a publisher, or any of this. But God has said, others need to hear this. Others are going through what you have been through, and they need to be healed and inspired as well. And if you can overcome, they can overcome. Not saying that you'll never, that loss is always going to be there. That memory is always going to be there, because we miss them and we hold them dear to our heart. But we have to take what we learned from them. And this is what I say a legacy is. A legacy is not what you've accomplished, but it's what you prepared others to do. So I had to take her legacy now and move forward with that. And so from the book To Everything There's a Season, it evolved to Everything There Is a Season Enterprises. So under that, I do have a lot of books around helping people to identify who they are and leverage the things inside them and pushing them to purpose. Because my mother, she she had so much promise and so much purpose in her that she could not do it at that time and fulfill it because God was calling her home. And so I want people to understand that if that purpose lies in you, and that you have to acknowledge what it is and walk in it. God has already given it to you, and start aligning your life back up. So that's how the name evolved, and then under that, these other different things evolved from my mom's name is Deborah C. Bulgin. Deborah C. Offer Bulgin. Offer was her maiden name. And so we have the Deborah C. Offer Bulgin Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence Awards, where we honor women. And we can talk a little bit about that later because that'll be coming up. We also give the Deborah C. Offer Bulgin Memorial Scholarship to a student. We have the Deborah C. Offer Bulgin Business and Leadership Institute. And then from that, some other things have evolved under that. My husband has a brand called Signature. My daughter has a brand called I Am a Cutie, a Queen in Training. As I said, the publishing company, the talk show that I do at Voxwave, my home, we're here today. Yes. And besides me interviewing somebody, they're interviewing me. And so, so we have my talk show that comes on the second Saturdays of each month at 3 o'clock. And we talked about the other two. So that's how it evolved. And it started in 2010, as I said, when I lost my mom. Our business started on March the 14th in 2014. And 5 years later, we're standing today, and God has blessed us with so much more. And, I just believe in acknowledging Him in everything that I do, because in that He will multiply it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me say, I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, yes, thank you for your
I'm so sorry for your loss, but I do believe that your loss, as you said, allowed you to blossom into what you have now. Congratulations to everything that you have, including your enterprise. I think that is a big deal, especially because you have people going through different things that you can relate to, or that you're helping them get through. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. And again, I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm happy to see that, that has transitioned you to do all of these things.
Yes,
that's good.
Even as we move closer and forward towards Mother's Day,
that
there's a lot of women like me, and sons, that are not going to be able to be with their mother. But I always say, celebrate her, honor her. What was her legacy? Build from that and go and live.
Absolutely. So tell me more about the process in regards to building your enterprise. I'm pretty sure it was difficult for you, but just tell me a little bit more about your process and how that was for you, that experience.
So the process, you saying difficult is a good word. I would say there were some barriers and some challenges, but there were so many more successes and celebrations. So going about it, as I said, when we started, just starting with the basic of it being for in memory and a legacy of my mother, and then in celebrating her through the Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence Award, and then turning it into more. And I wanted just to put this into play too, and I didn't mention this, in 2018, last year, July 2018, I was brought into a room, a 5-minute conversation, that in 45 days my job was going to be eliminated.
Oh, wow.
So although I had to everything, there is a season since 2014. I wasn't operating in a full entrepreneurial mode. I was actually just doing it, you go to work, and my work at that time consisted of like 24 hours around the clock, and I'll talk about that. And so I would also put in, work towards a full-time job, work towards this, putting everything together and doing it. So that was really the challenge and the difficult part of it, was trying to balance everything. And of course, being a wife of 11 years to a wonderful husband, a mother of 3, 21, 8, and 6, so 5 years ago, yes, you see how old they were 5 years ago, 1, 3. And so with that being said, those were some of the challenges of really how to balance it all and to give everyone my 100%. Because I don't give less than that in anything that I do. In my full-time job, I'm going to give my 100%. In being a wife, 100%. Mother, everything 100%. And that was the challenge and difficulty. And so with that being said, knowing that this is where my heart was, my passion, my calling, my purpose of really helping and serving and loving people to greatness, I always say that God closed the door through saying no. And so that was because in July, when I was pulled into the room and told that I had 45 days to find another position, either within the organization I was in or I would be, eliminated from it. And so when I was told that, I have been an educator by profession for 18 years. So about 18 years I've been an educator by profession. And to me, it looked like 18 years were just ready to go, just like that. And I was already at the highest level that I could be in an organization. I had served as a regional assistant superintendent, overseeing 15 schools at a large urban school district. And so I was like, what do I do next, or where do I go? Not to say that I would not go back to, teaching or anything, but it was not, I had already completed that. What can I do more, because I needed to impact more. Yes. I was not trying to isolate myself just to a classroom anymore. I needed to impact more. And so when I did actually apply for the position that I was currently in, and they called and said, well, no, we're not choosing you for that. My response could have been, very upset, or, get angry or mad or disgusted. And my reply was, thank you for not choosing me. Because I understand that only one person can choose you, because many are called but a few are chosen. And God can only choose you. He already chose me for what he needed me to do. And so from that day, I said, you know what? God has already given me everything that I need inside of me. He has given me the conditions to create abundance, to create overflow, to create wealth, to make things happen. I just have to pull it out and make it happen. And so that's what I did. So when I would say was eliminated from my position, I stepped out in a full entrepreneur mode at that time. And that's when I could operate in every piece of this at 100%. And be the best that I could be for people, for my family, for everyone. And from that day forth, I have been running full-fledged with this. And so what I do now, along with everything even more, I do a lot of educational consultation with school districts, organizations, nonprofits, foundations, one-on-one coaching. I have more time to do coaching with people who want to write a book. So I have several people now in the process, and one will be coming out soon. Thank you. Her name is Patricia Richmond. Go buy her book. It's coming out in a few days. So I have time to really walk in my purpose and pursue my passion.
Good. And it sounds like it.
Yes, I'm excited.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. Awesome. So tell me, let's talk a little bit more about some of the things here. Tell us more about the Leadership Development Institute.
Yes, so the Leadership Development Institute is where we actually design curriculum and we put systems and structures in place so that you can evolve either personally, professionally, or through your leadership development. And so I'll just give an example. Currently, I'm working with an organization now that wants to help people to evolve professionally. And what we do within that process is we really help people to identify who they are and what they contribute to the success of their organization, and also how they're a hindrance to it. So a lot of people want to always look at that I'm doing my part, but they don't see also how you could be hindering it. And so some of the challenges that I have, which is like, well, I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm doing everything right. And so, who are you? And honestly, who are you to come in to coach me and help me to develop professionally? And so a lot of times what I do is I just send people through what's called a reflective thinking process of their own self, to do a self-analysis of their own self, to see exactly who they are and what goals do they have for themselves to be better. It's not about how I'm doing. People always want to talk about, well, I'm already doing it. I'm doing. No, it's how do you get better? Because if you get better, you realize that you impact an individuals or organization or a greater community, and you help them to get better. And so that's what we do through our Development Institute, is to help people realize the part that they play and how the part you play helps to make everything better within the organization or for yourself.
Absolutely. That sounds great.
Thank you.
Great. Definitely well needed, because like you said, you do have people that are like, who are you to tell me what I need to do? That you hit it right on the head.
And I've had that. And to be very transparent, I've had, because it's through organization, I've had people that say, do I have to do this? And my question would be, well, why not? Why wouldn't you want to do it? Especially in education, what would be your reason not to do it? Because guess what? You impact children. So if you don't want to sit here and get better, are you sure that you're passionate about your work for these children? And so when I ask that question, then that changes everything. And I even had someone, share with me, well, I just think that the funds could have been spent better. So then my question would be to them, well, tell me, where did the funds come from? They couldn't even tell you where the funds came from to make it better. So if you don't understand, then how do you know? So, I mean, I'm being very honest with some of it because, organizations want to improve their culture.
Yes.
So let's go back to that. So culture is just simply the norms, values, beliefs are what drives a person's behavior. Mm-hmm. So if a person is stuck in their own culture, their own norms and their values, they're going to have the things that's going to drive them. So if I'm stuck in the mindset that I don't need to get better, then that's what's going to drive me. But the evidence would show if this student, and going back to the context of education, if this student is not improvement, that is something that you're impacting. So now you need to get better with your practices so that you can impact that student. And it goes for anything that we do in any organization.
All right. Sounds good. And you know what? Like you said, people are just like, who are you to tell me?
Exactly.
And a lot of times it can be just about them being fearful.
Yes.
Being fearful of learning what needs to change. You have people that are afraid of fear, people who struggle with fear, anxiety, who are afraid of change, people who are complacent and stuck in what works for them now instead of wanting to be open to learn what more can I do to be better later on. So
yeah, and it even made me think of when you just said that, which is so true. People don't feel safe. They don't feel safe with putting who I am in the hands of somebody else. And so at the initial start, I always have to build these relationships about getting to know who you are, what do you need, what do you value, what gets the best of you, what gets the worst of you, and understanding that and working with you to build that relationship of trust and letting you know that this is a safe place, that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And so once that is established, then those things around, well, who are you, and those things begin to change.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So tell me more about the other things that you have here. So the other things that they spiral from the Institute, or were they kind of like created at the same time, or how did it work?
Everything that I do and have done has been inspired through a process. And so I don't just do it because it's a fad. I don't do it because, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur, or have a business. I do it because this is what God called me to do, and it was a process. And I believe that if you learn the lesson, you need to teach the principles to somebody else, because somebody's sitting there waiting for you to help them. So when I think about the Deborah C. Alford Bulgin Personal Professional Leadership Development Institute, that really falls in the work that I do of helping people to become better. So that as a whole, their organizations or themselves or their classrooms, whatever I'm doing, their business, their church becomes better. When we look at the different components here, the publishing piece I would do next, because to everything there's a season publishing, I have 8 published books myself. So I have 8 published books myself. My husband has a book. My daughter, who's 8, has 2 books. She's a 2-time author.
That's so motivational.
Now I have people coming under me. And so this work that I did, and I have a team of professional graphic artists, I have a professional editor, formatter, a consultant that can help to make you be an Amazon bestseller. So I have all of this as a part of my team. So that evolved because I was writing all these books, and it was all purposeful of what happened during my processes in life, and helping and sharing it with others. And then from that, I would say I'm just trying to do it in order. We talked about the scholarship fund and the award gala. That all falls back to the legacy of my mom. And then it was last year, January 2018, God started to speak to me about turning dreams into a reality, and really talking about Joseph and his brothers and the dreams and things that took place in that aspect of it. And so God was like, you need to help more. You need to help more. And I'm like, okay, how can I do that? And that's how the talk show came into play. So here, every second Saturday, we talk about it, giving people hope around turning their dreams into reality, where we bring on people that have turned their dream to reality and talk about how it's become. And I even have shared my platform with others that wanted to have their own talk show, and now they have their own talk shows and things of that nature. So that's where that came to. And then Signature by William Green, that's my husband's brand. And my husband, when we always had our conversations and our intimate talks, and I heard him, and it was time for me to respond to what I heard, because a man with dreams needs a woman with vision. And so he had the dream, but I had with the vision of how to help it to come to pass. And so my husband always, of his background, where he came from, always thought that who he was, that his history was going to hinder his future and his present. And so as we had these conversations around who you are and who you are in God and what he wants you to become, we realized that a signature doesn't end a conversation, that it starts the conversation. So that's where it starts his brand. And he has a couture line of bow tie sets that he has.
Nice.
And also he has a published book, and we go around and encouraging, inspiring men that you too can become. Don't let your history hinder what God has for you. And then my beautiful daughter, who I love so much, but I love all three of my children, so I don't have any favorites. Although I tell my 6-year-old, you're really my favorite son. Don't tell that 21-year-old. And he goes, Marquise, I'm the favorite. So anyway, but Marquise, you're the favorite too, because you're 21 and you're still at home living in your mother's home rent-free. So you must be my favorite. But to say the least, my daughter Michaela, I shared this story that my daughter Michaela in kindergarten was diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. She was diagnosed with those things in kindergarten. As an educator, and like I said, was a teacher all the way up to regional assistant superintendent, so I knew the signs of children with ADHD and ODD. I knew them. I knew the triggers. I knew all about the function of their behavior, but I was in denial about my own child, saying, no, not my child. This cannot be. And so when I finally owned up to accepting it and then walking in the process that we needed to go about it, she was able to get the services that she needed. So a lot of time, and I help parents with this, that, parents say, well, I don't want my child to be classified as special ed. Well, your child isn't classified as special ed. Special education is a service. We put an individual education plan in place for your child so they can get the appropriate service that they need, and we monitor it, and then they get weaned off of that. We put these things in place to help them to self-regulate in the schoolhouse with the resources and tools they need so that we can wean them off, and then they can be successful. And so when I usually say that to parents, they feel a little comforting around the services and what they need. And so so my daughter, Michaela, is considered twice exceptional. So although she has the services that she needs in school to help her to self-regulate, she also is very talented and gifted and have a very high level of IQ, where she actually was qualified to go to Talent and Gifted at school. But because this school has worked with her so much and done such a successful job, and I commend them, I said, no, she'll be fine right here with you guys, because I love what they're doing for her. So with that being said, many times I had to come home from the day, and what I always encourage parents is to sit down and talk with your children. Find out, how was their day? What did you learn today? How did you learn it? Did you guys go to centers? Did you use manipulatives? Did you do projects? Like, how did you learn? What was the best part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? Did you get the help? So having all these conversations with her and everything, at the beginning of this school year, I realized that there were some new girls in town, and they weren't being quite nice to Michaela. And I would not classify it as bully, because bully, harassment, intimidation is ongoing. And this was not ongoing. It was like an isolated incident or two. And so with that being said, Michaela got herself into a little confrontation. It's a nice way to say it, with one of the little girls, because she was basically fed up with the behavior that she was receiving. And so when she came home, correcting the behavior, I said, now, is that how a queen acts? I was like, how does a queen in training act? What should you be doing? And who are you? And so from that evolved, I am a cutie, a queen in training. And so, I am smart. I am beautiful. I am fearfully made. I am born from a legacy, telling her about her grandmother, who she is. So that evolved that brand, I'm a cutie, queen in training. And so now we go around and we do a lot of self-awareness to inspire young girls of who they are, affirmations, and that they can become, as long as they dream. Her thing is dream, believe, and achieve, is what she says. But like I said, everything here, it was not by accident. It was all purposely intended by God, a process that my family had to go through so that we could be the answer for somebody else.
Your enterprise is amazing.
Thank you so much.
And what sticks to me is, I always hear people say you have to go through trial and error to reach to, where you need to be. And so just your enterprise altogether, all of your different components is amazing. I definitely can see the coaching in you, the educator in you, and all of the different components of your enterprise speaks to that. And so congratulations for that, because I think everything that you have here caters to someone.
Yes.
Someone. Yes. And I think it's really good. I think that it's very well deserved as far as people receiving it from you. You put it together very well.
Thank you.
Very well. I'm amazed. I'm amazed because as I'm listening to you talk about the different components, I myself am thinking of different people that I know personally that can benefit from these different pieces you have. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
Kudos
and you know what
you.
I said? I could have quit at any piece of this. I could have quit when my mother passed away.
Yes.
I could have quit when my daughter was diagnosed, when my husband thought he wasn't better. I could have quit and just gave up. And I said no, because you know what? First of all, God never gave up on me. And there has been people that never gave up on me. There's people that have prayed me through and pushed me through and, to get me to where I am today. So I can't quit on where I am. I got to keep going because, like I said, someone is waiting for you and needs you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about about the Excellence Award and the Scholarship Fund. How can someone win the award, and how can they get involved in the Scholarship Fund?
Yes, so we are in our final stages now in May of planning for our event in October. The gala will be October 12th at the Doubletree Hilton, Annapolis, Maryland. And this year we're actually having a Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence conference on that Friday for women and young girls. So we're going to have that. What we do is we do put out through social media, and I'll share at the end everything about my social media. We do pull out nominations. You can also go to my website and nominate someone for the award as well as the scholarship. And of course, there's some criteria that you have to follow. So you read the criteria, and then you can nominate, and then we will honor those people who have been nominated for the different entities that they have given back as a woman in their community or their neighborhood, and how they really impacted their community, their world, made a difference, and changed lives. And then, of course, the criteria for the scholarship is in the nomination form as well. So you can get it via social media or on our website, and we'll be posting it in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
In 2 weeks.
All right. Awesome. And one other question about the scholarship fund. Now, is there a certain amount? Is there like levels to the amount that
so
they
there's
can
not
get?
levels. So what it is, it's all based on sponsorship and contributions. So, so each year it will be like different. So our prayer is that it's more. And so depending on the amount of sponsorship and the contribution, then we can determine how much we can give. So we started this, like I said, in 2014. Last year was the first year we gave out a small scholarship to a student. It was a young man that goes to a college or art school in Pennsylvania, and we gave him a $500 scholarship.
Nice.
Now, some people say, "Oh, $500," but listen, are you giving out a $500 scholarship? Check. So $500 gets us started because books, meals, transportation, anything helps.
Yes.
And so we just started with $500 last year, but my vision and my goal is to ultimately give a full scholarship to a student, and I believe that we are going to be blessed, that God is going to touch that one person, and I hope I don't cry, because that's just my faith, because faith without works is dead. If I did none of this, my faith would be dead, and I ultimately believe that God's going to touch that one person every year to bless us so that we can give that full scholarship, and I'm walking in that. And what if some don't believe? As long as I believe, it's my faith.
Absolutely. 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 And you believing in that and knowing that makes it all the best.
Yes, thank you.
Makes it
so
all
much.
the best. Makes it all the best. So thank you for telling us more about all of your different components of your enterprise. I do want to talk about your book you have here.
Oh, okay,
Let's talk about your book.
Yes.
So tell us about your book.
So this book here, let me take one. Wait a minute. We got 8. Like, which one is this? Okay, so this one is "I Am Still Here, Living a Purposeful Life." And the quote on the top says, "The pain of your process births a passion-filled purpose. You are on the earth for a reason. Go and become the thought of God." And so this was my second book that I wrote after To Everything There's a Season, Go and Live. Because after I wrote that book, there were still so many things going on in my life that I'm like, God, what is this? What is my purpose? I'm trying, like you said, I'm trying to get ahead, but these challenges, these difficulties, these barriers, I need to overcome this. And what I realize is that just like I chose to be in those situations, I could choose to get out of it. And it was a choice. And I had to acknowledge that, listen, girl, you don't have to be this way. You don't have to be stuck here. You can move, and this is how you're going to move. So in this book, I talk a lot about purpose. I talk about pain. I talk about passion. I talk about the process. And I'm very transparent, and I tell my own stories. And actually, one of the chapters my husband also shared in here about he that findeth the wife finds a good thing. And so, and so how blessed he is. And so that's really what this book evolved from, really just now knowing what your purpose is, how to walk in it, and going back, because I really do believe that people need to take time to just get quiet, to get all of the noise out of their heads and listen to the sound that they need to move forward. And so I use a lot of questioning in this book to let people reflect on, do you have a growth or a fixed mindset? Do you know your purpose? And if you don't know, how can you become to know your purpose? Are you doing rather than becoming? Because a lot of people are just being busybodies. They're just busy. They're not purposeful. You're just being busy. So if you're being busy, you're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted. And so often now when people say, oh, I'm just so busy, I just smile now because I'm like, I bet you are, because you're busy and you're not truly identifying who you are for you and walking in that for you and not pleasing people and things of that nature. So this is what this book does. It helps you to slow down and really know what your purpose is and understand that your pain is going to birth your purpose, your process is going to birth it, and your passion is going to birth it.
Sounds like an amazing book.
Thank you.
Definitely amazing. How long did it take you to write the book?
So that's a good one. Because this one, so I even shared this in the book. So I was actually on my way, and I don't talk about myself a lot. I just don't, because I think the humble will be exalted and the exalted will be humble. And so you got to be careful when you're talking about yourself that you're not giving yourself glory, but you're always acknowledging God. So I don't really share a lot, but I'm also a mentor for Harvard School of Education Data Wise Improvement Project. And so I have each year I have a mentee that I support through this program through Harvard. So I was on my way to Harvard, just to say the least. I was going through this coaching program. I was on my way to Harvard. And when I was ready to go, I heard God said, don't get on that plane. And I was like, right? You're like, okay, it's something about it. You start questioning, right? But you shouldn't question God, but let's be real. We do start to question. I'm like, is something going to happen to me, blah, blah. And I just kept hearing, you shouldn't get on that plane. But then before me even just starting to just be obedient to it, worry and fear started to set in, and anxiety, like, okay, I got to get here. Why am I not going to have to get on this plane or whatever? And I sat down and I got still. And I listened to what else God had to say about why not to get on that plane. And so he just said, no, don't get on the plane. I have something more for you. And so, okay, so mind you, this was already like prepaid for and stuff like that. So I went ahead, called Amtrak, got me some train tickets to go to Boston. It was the longest ride I ever had taken, 8 hours up, 8 hours back. 16 hours total, but then going back, we had some challenges that one of the train carts, so this is real stuff that happens, right? I'm getting right. One of the train carts wasn't operable, so we had to stop on the train tracks for them to take a cart off and to hook it back up. So then I asked the conductor, I said, y'all do this all the time? Well, y'all just, unhook trains and hook them back up with people on them. Yeah. With people on them and making sure it worked. He was like, no. He's like, usually we do this in the yard. He's like, this is the first time. And I was like, are you kidding me? And so with that being said, it had to happen. So the 8 hours up, the 8 hours back, and the train not being operable had to happen because this is where I wrote that book. So I wrote the entire book, the 8 hours up, the 8 hours back, plus what the time it took. So it was really longer than that. And when I came back home, I told my husband, I said, look, I have a book. And he's like, what? And so typed it all, sent it, to the editor, sent it, to my graphic designer, did some things around it. I also have a masterclass that I do. Okay. It's called I'm Still Here Masterclass that I do to help people to identify, who they are and leverage the things inside of them. So many things have evolved from that too, but it was all through me listening to God and said, don't get on that plane. I have more for you. And when I think about it, even now today, this was 2016. I have more for you.
It's mind-blowing.
Exactly.
Mind-blowing.
It's being obedient. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And I had to learn that because even during my mom, when she passed away, I recall her calling me. I was in the kitchen, and I recall her calling me, and she actually said, "Now, my mom, she did everything she did everything she could for me as a child. Although my dad was always a part of my life and still is, I love him dearly. I need you to come out, Dad, to power wash my house when you watch this." But my mom was a single mom, and she did everything she could, and I saw in her, and you know, these days when she had started to become sick, she couldn't do too much for herself. So she had called me and she had said, you know, I just need a little help. This medicine that I need is too expensive. Can you help me? And I said, whatever, you don't have to ask, it's done. And so when I had dropped the call, I started to cry. And my husband's like, what is wrong? And I said, my mother is more sick than she's telling me and you're telling me. And they weren't telling me because they were trying to protect me because I was pregnant. And so I remember it was a snowy evening. I dropped everything. We went to where my mom was. It was like a 45-minute drive. We put the medicine in, got it and everything, and took it to her. But in that moment, I didn't do what I needed to do. I didn't pray. I didn't, intercede. I just stopped. I just got limp and I just got numb because it was my mother. And for the longest time, that really haunted me because I thought it was my fault because I didn't pray. But it was not my fault. It wasn't God's will. It was God's will to bring her home with him. And so I go back to just being obedient around when it's something to do, just do it. Don't let fear set in. You know, the antidote to fear is faith. So don't let fear activate your faith. God has given you power, love, and a sound mind. And he didn't say sound mind first. He said power first. So you have the power inside you. And I always tell people power is pushing out what's eagerly ready to come out. So it's eagerly ready to come out. Push it out. Don't worry if some people don't believe. Keep going. Don't worry if you're walking by yourself. I've been in these isolated places. And sitting here with you, it's so emotional because I've been here. But what God has done for me, I am so thankful that those people that tried to take from me and to use me and to suck life out of me, God took it away from me. Because if they had stayed, I wouldn't have got here. I would have been in this for the wrong reason. And so don't worry about being alone. Don't worry about being isolated. Don't worry about if you think the people that's supposed to support you is going to support you. They're not. They're not, because your support is going to be raised up for the people that are going to help you to get to where you need to get. So, all of this is just moments that I had to go through to help others, because I don't want anybody to die with their promise or still living with or dying with the purpose still inside of them.
You know what? You are just so motivating, inspirational, and you are speaking nothing but the truth. Just when you talked about not worrying about other people supporting you, that took me right back to when I hear all these stories about emerging entrepreneurs, people just starting, and they get discouraged in their business because they don't have their friends and family supporting. And so you stating that is like a friendly reminder to me of when you hear someone saying they're discouraged, they're not going to finish their business, to continue to push them to do it because they need to, because it's their purpose, it's their calling. So you are just such an inspiration.
Thank you. And I must say, going back to God will raise you up some help, because I am a part of some great networks and organizations. So I have to mention them. So the first network organization is Sister for Sister Network Incorporated. The founder and president, Peggy Macklin, a great source of network. I mean, they, just whatever you need, you go to them. They have resources. The answers are in the room, in the house. And as I'm beginning to plan now for the gala, pulling on some of them to help and support, to find sponsorships, things of that nature. Also, I'm a part of the DMV Mastermind with the visionary president, founder, chairperson, all of the above, Dr. Larry White. And it's another organization for business owners and entrepreneurs, authors, things of that nature. So that's another group of network. But, again, God raised all of that help for me. So now, it's like whatever you need, we're here to help you and support you. So those things will happen.
That's great. Yeah, that's great to hear. Well, you know what, Dr. Taskeka, it was great talking with you today. Thank you for stepping into the Boss Lounge with me. I'm excited and amazed to learn about your enterprise. I think it's so inspirational, so motivating, and educational. All at the same time.
Thank you.
Do you have any upcoming events at all?
So just most recently, like I just was sharing, we are planning for the Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence Conference on October the 11th at the DoubleTree Hilton, and then the gala on October the 12th. We will definitely be sharing that information within the 2 weeks, so you can nominate people for the award as well as the scholarship, and also give you information so you can attend. It's going to be a great event. And with that, I am doing a book collaboration, an anthology, and it's called The Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence, and it's courage, wisdom, and strength. And so I'm looking for 20 women that would like to be a part of this first anthology and collaboration. And so if you want to be a part, you can definitely go to my website, www.2eseasons.com. Click on the link that says Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence 2019, and it will share the information with that. And then again, if you want to, help in any way that you want to, the sponsorship or donors for the event, we would love to have you there. But that's really where my focus is right now. And I hope to see you there and everyone that's watching us today.
All right. And how can our viewers find and follow you on social media?
Yes, so on social media, you can find me on Facebook at Taskeka Green, or To Everything There's a Season. On Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at 2, the number 2, the letter E, Seasons with an S. And then on LinkedIn, that's where we are. Yes, I'm Dr. Taskeka Green. And you can always find me on YouTube right under Vox Wave, Turning Dreams into Reality, where you can view the show weekly, the second Saturdays of each month, 3 to 4. So thank you so much.
All right. Well, you know what? Thank you for your time and stepping into the Boss Lounge with me today. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to have you on again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, bosses. Thank you for stepping into the Boss Lounge today. Until next time, boss up and be blessed.
In 2018, I personally helped several people reclaim their healthy lives with a ketogenic lifestyle. Together with our team at Wakaya Perfection, we have helped over 4,000 people struggling with weight loss, burn off unwanted fat naturally, control hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol with our Beulah Fit Keto Fuel Shake and high-impact ginger and turmeric. Contact me for yours. Buttons about that ketolife.mywakaya.com. That's BUTTONSBOUTTATEOLIFE.MYWAKAYA.com or call 202-875-3926.
This is a keto-friendly diet, and weight loss expectation is approximately 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results can and will vary.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? Vox Wave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Many times in our lives, we sit and wonder why God has us where He does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see His goodness and His mercy, how His grace covers me. You gotta go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta go where God leads. Shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Many are the plans of man, but only God's plan will prevail. Don't be weary in well doing. All you have to do is keep going. Have faith and believe, and know one day you'll receive all the blessings that's for you. He is going to see you through. You gotta go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror. Greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror. Greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an
I hope you enjoyed today my interview with Boss Up Magazine with the wonderful Miss Tawana Dozier. And I'm so excited she's still here in the background. But today was an opportunity for someone to come in and interview me. And so what would it be a great opportunity for me to share my story of how I turned my dreams into reality. I don't know how often you guys catch the show, and I share bits and parts, but today was an opportunity for 45 minutes straight of just Dr. Taskeka L. Green sharing her story. And as you can see, it all started, not even 2010. I want to go back to even when I was a little girl. I used to just sit around the table and play school, with the stuffed animals and things of that nature. So it's always been a dream to help, to serve, and to love others. And so if you have a dream, you take that dream, you turn it into a vision, and watch your vision become a reality. But you have to be committed to what you want to do. You have to be dedicated to what you wanted to do too. You have to be submitted to it as well. You can't just dream it and write it and then put it on the side and want someone else to turn it into reality for you. You have to do it. So put your hand to it and never look back. Put some goals in place. Put some strategic things in place. Put some systems in place. Put some structures in place. Leverage the right resources. And resources, it's not always money. If God gave you the vision, He'll give you the provision. If He gave you the what to do, He'll fund it for you. And so do not worry about that. Don't let fear separate you. Don't let any doubt come into play. You do it. You take your dream, write that vision, put some things in place, and watch it become a reality. It will only become what you say. So what I want you to start doing is speaking those things that you want to become and walking in it. Listen, my name is Dr. Taskeka L. Green, the CEO, president, and founder of To Everything There's a Season Enterprises. You can catch me here every second Saturday on VoxWave.com. Please tune in, tell your friends, tell everyone to meet us here, because we are here to help you to turn your dreams into reality. Until next time, you can find us on social media and our website, www.2eseasons.com. We hope to see you again next month, second Saturday at 3 p.m. at VoxWave.com. Thank you.
Many times in our lives, we sit and wonder why God has us where He does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see His goodness and His mercy, how His grace covers me. You gotta go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Many are the plans of man, but only God's plan will prevail. Don't be weary in well-doing. All you have to do is keep going. Have faith and believe.